Hey there, Paranormal Quest family, subscribers, and maybe new viewers. Welcome to the Paranormal Quest YouTube channel, where we've been investigating some of the most haunted places in the world in search of paranormal activity for 13 or 14 years.
Hello?
And you've become accustomed to watching us go into these dark buildings and search for proof of the unexplained. But we are going to be adding something to this channel that is going to be a little bit different. We've never really allowed our true selves to shine through, to show you our personalities, our sense of humor, as well as to get to express our viewpoints on a lot of the topics that we are searching for in some of these haunted buildings. So we are bringing you to the Paranormal Quest YouTube channel, the Coffee and Scream podcast. This originally had its own YouTube channel, but a lot of our subscribers were struggling to find it, and we want to give you the best opportunity to find this podcast and get to view it. So while we are still going to be uploading our paranormal investigation documentaries on Saturday nights, we are also going to be uploading an episode of the Coffee and Scream podcast in the middle of the week. We call ourselves the Scream Team, and sometimes we discuss topics that are terrifying, but other times we find the most ridiculous things that just make us laugh. And we hope you enjoy this podcast as much as we enjoy making it. Now, this particular episode of the Coffee and Scream podcast was filmed back in January, so some of the topics that we discuss are a little bit outdated, but we hope you enjoy listening to us discuss them nonetheless. So, Paranormal Quest family, welcome to the Coffee and Scream podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome to the very first episode of Coffee and Scream, finally. And speaking of screaming, I think Ryan is about ready to scream and rip my head off because I have decided at the last minute that I wanted to completely redo the set and the cameras and everything. Are you ready to rip my head off?
A little bit, but it happens. Dave, we moved around every single light in this entire set, and then we redid all the camera angles. And we're finally here. We're finally ready. I'm excited because Coffee and Scream has been a long time coming.
Yes. Now that my little OCD meltdown is over, we can get into the podcast. We have some very cool things planned for this. We've got a really exciting guest, one of our best friends here that we will introduce here in just a minute. But before we get started,
let's talk about how the podcast came to be, because I think people might be watching this for the first time. They might not know who the hell we are.
They probably don't.
Yeah, let's be honest. They probably don't. You guys don't know who we are, right?
No.
So we decided this was a long time coming because this started as an Instagram live series and a YouTube live series that you used to do sitting on the back patio of the apartment that we lived in.
Yes.
You'd get coffee, and then mostly you would just sit out there and you would talk about what was going on in our lives with our YouTube series that we filmed, Paranormal Quest, which we've been doing for 14 years now.
Yeah.
And, investigating the paranormal and going to some of the most haunted places in the world. And it was actually a viewer named Michael Bloom who decided that he wanted to come up with a name for that series. And, or he actually decided, that was completely wrong. I am sorry. What happened was he was watching the Instagram and YouTube live series, and he said this should be a podcast.
Yes.
And that was about a year and a half ago.
Oh, it was longer than that. I was looking at it the other day. I think it was either 2 years ago or just over 2 years ago.
Wow.
So I definitely don't procrastinate at all.
Michael, here we are. We're finally doing it. So shout out to Michael Bloom. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Real quick before we get started, guys, if you haven't yet, and if you didn't know, we do have an Instagram page for the podcast. Just go over to Coffee and Scream Podcast. I'll put it on the screen down here. Go and follow that. And we do all kinds of fun polls and interaction things like that you can be a part of, which we will get to later in this episode. We already did our first one, so.
Yeah. So, you want to introduce our guest, and then before we jump into her stories and asking her about herself, there's a story that we need you to tell, but we need her input on this story.
Yes. Oh, her? Her input.
Her input.
Okay. All right, guys. So, I'm sure you know our first guest. We've been friends with her for a very long time. She's one of our best, dearest friends. We work with her and her group a lot. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. It's Viva.
It's Viva!
It's our boo! Viva!
Thank you for being the first guest on the podcast, Viva.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to be here, honestly. Yes. I know you guys have been talking about this for forever, so I'm happy that I could at least cut the ribbon on the very first episode with you guys.
Yeah, you're like, finally, it's happening.
I know, literally. I'm like, hurry up.
Popping the cherry.
Literally, yes. Honestly, yes. I just want everybody to know, I have been pestering Dave for the past 6 months. I'm like, hey, when we doing that podcast? When we do that podcast, huh?
But that's something I think that I needed was for someone to light a fire and get me to actually do it. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I was very excited about it. I was very pumped to be able to work with you guys again. I love working with these guys. They're amazing.
Well, we love working with you.
We love working with you.
Stop it. If I could blush, I would.
You may know Viva as being one of...
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Took me a second. Wow.
You may know Viva as one of the co-owners of Hidden Marietta Ghost Tours.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, a very avid TikToker.
Oh, God.
So if you haven't, follow Viva
Lord.
on TikTok because her TikToks are absolutely amazing. Some of them are funny. Some of them will make you cry. Some of them will make you think. And
I wouldn't go that far.
mostly laugh.
I don't need an Oscar. I don't have any Oscar-winning performances at all.
She is the Meryl Streep of TikTok.
Oh my God.
That's a big
Viva La Melissa on TikTok.
Viva La Meryl.
Viva La Meryl.
Viva La Streep.
That,
No.
It doesn't have the same ring.
We're
Just
about
Viva.
to get a cease and desist from Meryl Streep here.
Honestly.
Meryl, come on the podcast.
Yeah,
Be our
totally.
second guest. That'll definitely happen.
Could you imagine Meryl Streep?
I love Meryl Streep.
Oh my God, what a queen.
She's a great actress.
I know, I love her.
Dave?
Yes. Well, real quick, I just wanted to say, Viva, you're also the spooky hostess of the Anchorage Mansion.
Yes, I do a lot of work with Hidden Marietta. I do ghost tours, paranormal investigations. I have been a paranormal investigator for, geez Louise, maybe 5 years, something like that. And I feel like, even though I'm obviously haven't been in the game as much as you guys, I will absolutely give you your flowers. I haven't been in the game as long as these guys, but I can toot my own horn and say that I feel like even in that short amount of time, I've made some waves, I guess. So I do tours at the Anchorage Mansion. We've helped renovate that building. It's located in Marietta, Ohio. I've also done investigations on Blennerhassett Island, which these guys have investigated there. You could probably find an episode up on their channel, of course, Paranormal Quest. Done investigations in a few other places with my Hidden Marietta business, but I've also investigated a bunch of other places too, like Trans-Allegheny and Moundsville Prison and whatnot.
So you've definitely got to get your feel of all the creepy places around here for sure.
Oh yeah. And even if I haven't gotten to investigate those specific places, I know what places are haunted and I know what the stories are. And every time I drive by or walk by, I'm like, ooh, bitch, I know what's going on in there. Ooh, I know your basement haunted, bitch. Oh my God.
And that's actually where we met, is at the West Virginia Penitentiary, believe it or not. I was your tour guide at the West Virginia Penitentiary.
I always forget about that. He was my tour guide. And then you came to the Anchorage. You guys came to the Anchorage to do an investigation, and you interviewed me on camera. And then I was leaving, and I was like, I know that guy. I know that guy. And I'm driving, and I'm like, I know that guy. And I literally hit the brakes and spun a U-turn because I stopped you in the middle of you filming B-roll, and I was like, I know where I know you from.
I remember that.
Yeah,
because we thought you were gone, and then all of a sudden you just came back.
Literally, yes. Because I needed to, them intrusive thoughts you be having? Everybody gets intrusive thoughts every once in a while. And I had one of those. I could have completely left alone and then just drove off and never spoke about it again. But I was like, no, I have to tell him where I know him from.
But who knows, if you hadn't done that, we might not be sitting here right now.
Honestly, you're not wrong. Everything has a purpose, okay? It's like a butterfly effect.
Yes.
That's right.
Not like the movie with Ashton Kutcher.
And not to cause anyone any stress right now, but every single decision that you make in your life influences your future, even the smallest ones. You may not know it now, but the tiniest little decisions affect the future in a big way. And if Viva would have decided to come on a daytime tour at the West Virginia Penitentiary 1 hour later, we might not be sitting here right now.
period.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't think that's anything to be scared of. I think that's a good thing to make you have a better outlook on life and want to do better things. So.
Yes, exactly. Now, before we get into talking to Viva a little bit more about her paranormal experiences, there's one thing that we wanted to talk about on this podcast, which you completely forgot about.
Yeah. Yep. I'm looking at the script or the outline here if you want, and I have nothing written down, so I don't know what you're talking about.
So a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, you told me a story about something that you witnessed out of your bedroom window at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh my God. I forgot about that.
You witnessed and experienced a glitch in the Matrix. And
I did.
What better way to start the Coffee and Scream podcast to talk about all things spooky than to talk about this creepy experience you had?
Yeah. I didn't tell you about this, did I?
No, you didn't.
Okay. So
I have seen some TikToks about people like recording like glitches in the Matrix, and it freaks me out every single time.
yeah,
Like I hate it.
It
honestly.
is weird. It's weird. I wish I would have recorded this. I didn't think to record it, and if I leave anything out, just let me know, because we all know I'm not great at telling stories, because I'll say the one line of what it is, and that's my story. So the crazy thing about it is I was asleep, and I heard like this weird noise coming from my bedroom, and I woke up, and it was Nova, our cat, and she was like pawing, trying to get in the window blinds of these brand new window blinds that I had just installed literally earlier that day. And she was trying to get in, and you know how cats are. Instead of trying to go under it, they'll try and get through the window blinds. Whoops. They'll try and get through the window blinds. And so I went over, and I was just messing with the window blinds, and I happened to look outside at the wrong time. I saw something that I wasn't supposed to see. I do think it was a glitch in the Matrix. So I saw this guy in a wheelchair.
First of all, wait, stop. I hate that
Is
already.
it at 2:00 in the morning?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it was like an animal, like a squirrel was like stuck midair, that I would be like, oh, that's so weird, so creepy. But when it involves people, that pulls me into like Skinwalker territory, and I hate it.
Right. It was one of the strangest things, if not the strangest thing that I've ever seen. But yeah, like I said, it was 2:30, something like that in the morning, and I just look out my window. There's this guy in a wheelchair, not a power wheelchair, like one you have to move yourself. Mm-hmm. And the guy was going backwards, just going straight backwards. And
Down the alley.
Down the alley, which goes up as you're going back. If you were going backwards, it would go up. And so I waited for him he went behind the garage, and then there's another part that you can see, and this man never reappeared. He never reappeared. He never went the other way. He just disappeared.
I hate that.
And he wasn't actually like rolling his wheels either, was he? He was just like coasting backwards up the hill.
It was just sliding.
That's disgusting.
It was... I seriously think it was a glitch in the Matrix, and it was something that I was not supposed to see.
Ew, I hate that.
Yeah, I did too.
So much.
I remember you told me that story, and I almost didn't believe it at first. I was like, no, there has to be an explanation to it, because there is. I mean, down that alley there is a church.
There is.
So you think maybe it's someone going to the church, or there's a mission down the road, someone going to the mission. But it just doesn't make sense, because if they were coasting down a hill, that would be one thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But the fact that it's a slight incline. It's almost flat, but it's a slight incline to go up. You would, in a wheelchair, have to work to go anywhere. You'd have to spin the wheels. You'd have to use your arms. And most people ride in the wheelchair forwards because it makes more sense and it takes less effort, you would think, especially on a rocky alleyway.
And he didn't like go in the garage or anything, right?
No, it's the garage for the neighbors here.
Yeah, and no one at the neighbor's house has a wheelchair.
That's... See,
it was so creepy. And like, I wasn't on, at the time, I wasn't on any mind-altering substances, anything like that. So I was completely sober because I had just woken up. And like, yeah, it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Now, do you think it could have been some sort of like sleepy mindset? Because some people do have those things where they're like half asleep and they have things that happen and they can't explain it. Do you think like it was something like that, or?
No, because when I got up, I was pissed because Nova was trying to get in those blinds, and I was raging mad.
Oh my gosh.
And Like, that had already set me off, so I was just like, whatever. And I just happened to look out because it's just something I do. And there he was, just gliding backwards up the alley.
See,
and disappeared.
And that also, like, pulls me into the whole alien conversation, too. It's like, what if he got beamed up?
I didn't think of that.
See?
Yeah. Ooh, that's creepy.
I know. I hate it. I hate it. Oh, my God.
Watching this on the video version on YouTube, leave a comment down below. What do you think that was? Do you think it was a glitch in the Matrix, or do you think I was just seeing stuff, or do you think that it was just a random guy? Because
I wonder if any of your... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
I wonder if any of your listeners might have, like, a glitch in the Matrix story, too.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I know it happens, like, a lot. A lot of people either record it or they say that they've seen things and they're like, I don't understand this whatsoever. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, we do have a viewer voicemail. If you want to call in, if you have a glitch in the Matrix story that you want to tell us, the phone number is 740-538-0477, and I will put that on the screen for the video watchers as well. Call in and let us know. Do you have a glitch in the Matrix story?
That's right. And if you do leave a voicemail, make sure you have your story clear, concise, short, because you only have 90 seconds once you start recording that voicemail to give us your story. So
yes,
you can't be too long-winded, but we want to hear your stories. Do you have a glitch in the Matrix? And on the next episode of Coffee and Scream, we will listen to that.
Yes.
And detail some of your stories.
Yes, and we do have some viewer voicemails already that we're going to do towards the end of the episode, so make sure that you watch all the way through for those voicemails.
That's right. So, Viva.
Yes.
This week, we are going to do something very special called the Mug of the Day. It's called Coffee and Scream. Coffee and Scream podcast.
Yes.
So the mug that you drink your coffee out of is very important. And we told you this before you came to... You brought a very interesting mug that is so appropriate.
I did. I don't know if this is going to, like... If you can, like, read it the right way, but it says coffee with scream and sugar.
So you did what the kids say and you understood the assignment.
Period. Yes, I did.
Yeah, you got
it. First of all, I get straight A's every time, 10s across the board. I always understand the assignment, okay?
Very good.
You told me to bring a mug, and I said, girl, I know what I'm bringing. Honestly, it's so perfect. It literally fits the theme. It is purple and black, and it's like kind of spooky, kind of witchy. And it says coffee with scream and sugar.
I love it. Ryan, what is your mug?
My mug was actually a gift to me this Christmas from my lovely girlfriend, Miranda. She got me this ginormous behemoth of a mug.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Which is actually accumulating some condensation from the icy cold coffee inside because I'm drinking iced coffee because it's been unseasonably warm recently. And it is, believe it or not, it's like a Viking mug. It is made out of genuine ox horn.
Ooh.
So I'm channeling my inner Viking on this episode of Coffee and
Sorry, I
Scream.
didn't mean to laugh. Every time you say genuine, genuine ostrich, 3 payments.
Genuine ox horn, 3 payments.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm just goofing.
I'm just goofing. New mug goofing.
So this is my mug. I got the double pumpkin.
Because Halloween
Mug.
never ends.
Halloween never ends. You got to stay spooky. Can we say that on the podcast?
Sorry, Colin.
Sorry, Colin, if you're not watching this. I know you're not watching this, but stay spooky.
Shout out to Paranormal Files.
Gosh.
This is my double pumpkin mug, and it is iced coffee.
That face, though.
All right, so let us know which one of these mugs is your favorite. Let us know. Is it Viva's? Is it Ryan's massive horn? That sounded wrong.
Oh my God.
What is it?
His massive
Your genuine
Let us know
horn.
if you love my massive horn.
Yes. Okay. Or yours.
or the double pumpkin. Let us know below.
So, Viva,
Yes.
what is the experience in your life that led you down the path of not only ghosts and the paranormal, but all things spooky? Because you are like the queen of spooky.
Oh, don't give me that much credit. My head won't fit outside of this room. first of all. Secondly, no, honestly, I don't think I'm the queen of spooky at all. But I have dealt with the paranormal literally my entire life. Something about the paranormal has always like been a big draw for me. Just the simple fact that I grew up in an apartment, which I've probably said this like 1,000 times. I know there's a few people in my life that have heard this story time and time again.
Well, I remember nothing, so.
Well,
this is the first time hearing this from me.
Oh, Grandpa. No, but I grew up in an apartment building in Brooklyn, New York. Shout out Crown Heights. That's where I grew up. And the apartment building that I grew up in was haunted. Very much haunted. The story goes there was an apartment building, like kind of like the projects a little bit, before the apartment building that I moved into, my family and stuff moved into. And it had burned down and a bunch of people died during that. And when we were just living there, and like they basically like cleared out the space and just built a building on top of that.
Oh, okay.
But when we moved in there, we, not only us, but a lot of other people in the apartment building were also having paranormal things happening. Now, mind you, growing up in the hood, growing up in the ghetto, basically, you don't really hear about the paranormal very much. You don't really hear about like spooky things happening. You don't really like. I don't think people pay attention to it that awful much because, especially in New York, there's like a lot of hustle and bustle. There's too many moving parts for you to pay attention to that. But the paranormal things that were happening were so prominent that it was completely impossible to ignore them. I remember seeing a woman dressed in white who was spinning in our like apartment hallway. It was like early in the morning. My sister was in the shower and she was just outside the bathroom door, and I had a clear shot from my bed to the hallway, and I could just see this woman. She was Spanish. She had long black hair and she was just spinning, and she had a long white dress on and she was staring up at the ceiling spinning. Wow. And that was disgusting. I hated it. I remember there being a man who was obsessed with my mother. He had a long white t-shirt on. He had blue jeans that were kind of...
Spirit, you mean?
Yeah. Spirit. These are all spirits I'm referring to. Okay. He had a long white t-shirt on. He had blue jeans, and he didn't have a head. And he was obsessed with my mother. He would tickle her feet in the middle of the night. Ew. Yeah. And even to this day, she can't sleep with her feet outside of the covers because he would do it almost every single night. And there were a few times where like me or somebody, like she'd be napping or something, and you'll see him at the foot of her bed just like, and then he'd just like disappear. We had like kids in the apartment building as well. We've had other people that lived in the apartment building that also said that they've seen these cast of characters, for lack of better words. So it was pretty commonplace. It was something that was kind of spoken, but also unspoken amongst the people that lived in the apartment building. But that is where my paranormal happenings started. When I moved here to Ohio is when I actually started, like obviously me being an adult versus me being a child and having those things happen. I didn't understand it as a kid, but now that I am an adult, I was very curious about it, and I wanted to figure out what the hell was going on. The Lafayette Hotel in Marietta, Ohio, definitely very, very haunted. But that was the very first place that I did any sort of paranormal investigating. And afterwards, I was just like on like an adrenaline high. I was like, this is so fucking cool. Oh my God. Yeah. And I just stuck with it. I was like a nail in their side. I was like, can we do that again? Are you guys going any place else? I want to go. And then I've just been with it ever since, honestly.
And now look at you, co-owner of the company.
I know. Look at me. I'm such a baddie.
You are.
It just goes to show you perseverance. You stick with it. That company that you went on your first ghost tour with, you are now a co-owner of that company.
Yes. Just like you kind of said earlier, you never know. Like every decision that you make in life always leads you somewhere. Yeah. And I never thought growing up in the hood If you know anything about New York City, know anything about Brooklyn, you know anything about Crown Heights or anything like that, like I grew up in the hood, I promise you. But going from being in the hood where there was like gang violence and drugs and stuff like that, and being able to be like, oh, I'm a co-owner of a paranormal business that does like ghost tours and stuff. That's pretty fucking cool.
It is, yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's something to be proud of for sure. And
yes.
It's very cool to see you and Jessica and all of the other ladies be a part of this.
Yes.
Is it okay to mention her?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. No, you can mention all of them.
Okay.
We're getting a cease and desist from Jessica now.
Oh my gosh.
I just think it's really cool that it's unfortunate that there's not a bigger female presence in the paranormal field, and even above that, a female presence that are running these locations and tourism companies and things like that. So I think it's very cool and very important to see and have y'all do that.
See, I think there are quite a few female paranormal investigators in the field, but it's just a matter of they get overshadowed by the men that are like, oh my God, dude, blah, 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 that are just so over exaggerating.
Yeah.
And for women, I feel like for the most part, we're just kind of like, oh, that was cool. Whoa,
Right.
That's spooky. That's great. And like, no, okay, first of all, I just realized you guys have penises. I'm so sorry. I'm not talking about you guys.
That's okay. No, you're fine.
Okay,
we know how men in the paranormal are. We know.
Yes.
We know.
Yes.
We've worked with a lot of them. So.
I know. And I've worked with a lot of female investigators. And they've all been like super supportive. Like I have to shout out my girl, my bloody galentine. Her name is Becky, and she is amazing. And she has been such a big support for me. She has helped put my name out there in a way, and I really appreciate that. So I feel like it's more of a collaboration when it comes to the female paranormal investigators. And it's not like a competition. It's like girls helping girls.
Yeah, you build each other up instead of tear each other down.
Yeah, and that's what it's supposed to be. The paranormal community is supposed to be a place where all the weirdos can get together and be okay with each other and be okay around each other and feel comfortable instead of it being like a competition, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's very, very cutthroat, unfortunately, these days.
That just leads to a bad environment. With it being so cutthroat, it leads to people having to constantly outdo one another, and that leads to disingenuous paranormal evidence.
Yes, but
not to get technical or anything, but I mean it does, you know.
That's understandable, but I think ultimately it just kind of makes your circle smaller though, which is totally fine because you don't need a huge production. You don't need a bunch of people. You don't need a massive group. You don't need all of that stuff to be able to get good paranormal evidence, to be able to have a good investigation. You just need people that you trust.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that we've learned very much this year is we've started scaling back a little bit on our production, and it seems to, at least, I don't know about you, but at least for me, it seems to have made it a little less stringent, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely has. We've been doing this for 10 years. Or actually 13, 14 years now. Our production was not big when we started, but it has grown to be something that is very difficult to digest in the moment. You know, when we are there in the locations, when we're filming, we have a very strict protocol that we've gone by for years. And it is tough for me because my brain is very much a creature of habit.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I get addicted to the stress. And to sit back and say, you know what, we can make something that is good and worth watching and get really good paranormal evidence without feeling like our body is about to fall apart at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Which we did for 7 or 8 years is refreshing. And it does. It brings back your love for the reason that you started doing it, why we started investigating the paranormal. And all those years ago when we met in prison.
Yes. We all met in prison.
I was going to say, technically, I met you guys in prison, too.
Yeah, well, you met me in prison. I don't know if you met Dave in prison.
No, I met Dave in prison, too.
Did you?
He was at the desk.
Oh, you were the gift shop worker that day.
Yeah, but I didn't know who you were, so.
No. Yeah. I don't, it's not like I stick out like a sore thumb or anything, but, you know.
I remember Brian.
Because of his coat, his coat with tails, his green coat with tails. Your husband.
I love him. Oh my god, that's my husband, ladies and gentlemen, that they're referring to. He's a hot mess, and I love him so much.
Good guy. He's a good guy.
He's a great guy. Yeah. Honestly, he deals with all of my spooky shenanigans.
Yeah.
My house is getting spookier and spookier with its decor, and he's just like, okay, honey. And that's all I could ask for. That's all any woman could ever ask for. Men, take note, okay? If you want to just have bones, if your woman wants to have bones as decor and like spooky stuff as decor, just let them. Just let them. Just say yes, okay? As long as they're not like bringing demons into your house, just let them.
Yeah.
And even then, you know.
And even then, I mean, like...
Yeah, just keep the demon in a bottle.
I'm a demon in a bottle, baby.
Hey. Don't know.
Hey.
Come on in, let me out. Isn't that the words?
She says, come on in, let me out.
I'm not up on my Christina.
That was from like the 90s, so...
Although I'm pretty sure it's a genie in the bottle, not a demon in the bottle.
Copyright.
Yeah, Ryan.
Genie in a bottle is a very common term. We're getting a cease and desist from Christina.
Christina, come on the podcast.
Oh my god.
We could do like a whole singing lessons podcast. I'd love that.
We could.
I've always wanted to be a singer. I've never told anybody that. Maybe like real close friends, but like I've always wanted to do it, but I don't have the confidence to do it.
Same. I would love to be a singer as well.
Let's start a spooky band.
Spooky band?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
We're already a part of a spooky band, though.
We are?
Yeah, with Allison and Cag.
That's right.
From Adelaide Haunted Horizons. We are starting a spooky band. This is unofficial. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it is going to be... Well, should I say the band name? Someone might steal it.
They might steal it. Let's keep it secret.
It's not copywritten, so
yeah, it's not... we haven't copywritten it yet, but we'll...
Yeah. Coming 2024, you might get a single released. Or... However that goes. But yeah.
That's right. An EP.
An EP, yeah.
I love that, though, honestly. I love that. Oh, my
That's
God.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I would love to be a singer, but,
Me too.
I can actually sing. That's like one of my hidden talents. And I can twerk, but I don't know if you can... I can't do both of those at the same time.
Do you remember that time I tried to have you teach me how to twerk?
You have to move your hips.
I know. I just can't do it.
It's all about the hips and sometimes about the like legs and thighs too. Because there's so many technical stuff that goes into it. I promise you. Like...
Yeah, I don't have the coordination.
I know.
I don't have the coordination or the butt.
Yeah.
It's okay. I've seen... Listen...
I need more ass.
Pancakes can still do their thing, okay? Like, listen, I tell my friends all the time when they don't have a large posterior, aka a fat ass like me, pancakes are still edible, okay? Pancakes are still edible, so don't sleep on it, okay?
True. That is true.
It's true. Yeah. You can have cupcakes, you can have pancakes, you can have a whole sheet cake.
A crepe? No.
A crepe.
Crepes are a hit or miss, but you know.
They're still good. You just need filling in them.
I know, that's the thing.
That's need to be dressed up a little bit.
That's another podcast.
That's another show.
That's another show.
This is culinary.
Oh my
or is it something else?
Ooh.
Yeah.
One thing that, I mean, like I was alluding to, we all met in prison, but met all those years ago in prison, and that's, we all had experiences before we met in prison, but the West Virginia Penitentiary, at least for you and I, Dave, kind of formulated who we were working there for so many years. Your mom captured the famous Shadow Man photograph back there, one of the probably best pieces of paranormal evidence that was captured between 2000 and 2010 was captured by her in that prison. And that kind of, as Steve used to say, we cut our teeth.
Yeah.
In paranormal
and
ghost hunting and all things spooky, working in the haunted house. And I think that's what really formulated us and all of the experiences that we had there. Do you feel like, going back to our original topic, that if it weren't for that penitentiary, we wouldn't be here right now?
That's a good question.
Jason, I think you and Jason have had this conversation under certain mind-altering substances and things that just make you talk and talk and talk, But, yeah, I think the conclusion that we had come down to is that it all circles back to my mom. And my mom starting to just have the interest to go to that prison to do the tours.
Yes.
And if she hadn't have started doing those tours and taking the photo and, Suzanne inviting us to be there to do the overnights and eventually meeting you and then Steve and Jason and then Viva. And yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for my mom wanting to do that, I wouldn't be sitting here. But yeah, I think if it wasn't for my mom, none of us would have met and we wouldn't be sitting here doing this podcast or doing Paranormal Quest or anything. We wouldn't have met Allison and Cag.
Right. It all circles back to Polly Gear and the famous Shadow Man photograph at the West Virginia Penitentiary.
Mama Polly.
It does.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what kickstarted this whole thing and all of the locations that we've gone to since. I mean, Polly is such a supportive and wonderful person and mother that she's like the para mom for all of us, She's found locations for us that we have investigated and, so I really do. And it is kind of, it really makes your brain work overdrive because you can trace all of it back to that. And that started this journey for all of us. Speaking of, though, creepy and haunting things, I compiled some TikToks.
Yes, you did.
That I found. Just a few, just 3 of them for us to watch and react to. Some of them are evidence related, which we can... One thing that I found when I was going through the paranormal and ghost side of TikTok, at least pre-recorded TikToks, is that it's very difficult to find genuine paranormal activity on TikTok.
Yeah, I've seen a few things on TikTok that I was like, that's interesting. But there's a lot of stuff that obviously people say something's happening and they're frantic, they're moving the camera around, and you can't really tell.
A lot of opportunities for cuts and stuff.
Yeah, but I have a few things on TikTok that I'm like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yes. And, I sifted through the dust orbs and strange sounds that were actually the water heater or
coyotes.
Or coyotes in the woods.
Yes.
And even downright fake things. There's things that I found on there that were downright absolutely 100% fake, and I could say that's too easy. It's low-hanging fruit to try and bring that on and have us react to it because we would know in the end, we'd be like, well, this is how they did it, because we have an extensive background in video production, and I know exactly how you can create those types of effects. So I didn't choose any of those. Okay. And this will be, for those of you that are watching on the video version, you're going to get to see these with us. For those of you that are listening, after it's done playing, we are going to describe what happened in the video for you so that you can be on board with us too. Because those of you that are in the car driving, we don't want to cause any accidents. We don't want you to pick up your phone and try and watch this.
No,
we'll describe what happened.
Yes.
So
don't do that because we're on the road too. We don't want to die.
Right. We're not on the road right now.
I was going to say, we're not on the road right now.
Not right now. Wouldn't that be weird, though, to get killed by somebody watching the podcast you put out?
Are you good?
No.
Are you okay?
Constant spiral.
Oh, my gosh.
For everybody watching, I have these pulled up on a screen in front of everybody here so they can see them. We're going to watch them. The first one we're watching is called... I don't know. Do TikToks have titles?
It's Real paranormal evidence caught while abandoned exploring at Bontdu Hall, and then it cuts off.
Okay. Have you guys seen these before?
I had to watch them.
That's a good point.
I know that I've seen one of them,
Okay.
but I'm not sure about the other two.
Okay, real paranormal evidence caught while abandoned exploring at Bontdu Hall.
But as he was going to say before he got distracted, he had me pick these out because he doesn't TikTok.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
I had Ryan find these because, like he just said, I don't TikTok. I don't like TikTok. I don't approve TikTok. I don't support TikTok. I'm sorry.
Why you say you're sorry to me?
I was looking at both of you.
Oh, I thought you were looking at... I was going to say, I'm not the queen of TikTok. They don't pay me. They don't cut me a check.
They should.
They should.
They should.
They should.
They should. Okay, let's watch this first one, and let's see what we think about it.
There we go. This is the beginning.
Hold on, I'm going to pause it real quick.
Uh-huh.
I am going to be genuinely honest about these, and there's no filter on this podcast. So if I think, or you think that it's completely fake, just
That's what
have
we'll
at it.
do. We'll let you
Yeah.
know that it's fake, and we'll tell you why we think it's fake.
And if the person that we like the video that we're watching, if that person is listening or watching, sorry, but also not sorry.
This is our opinion. You can put your opinion down in the comments if you don't believe it's fake, or if we say something is real and you don't believe that it is real. This is a discussion. That's the whole point of a podcast, is to talk. So let's talk about it.
Let's do it. And this is for research and education purposes. So this is fair use of being able to watch these on here, but I will link them in the description below.
That's right.
This is by Scary Talk Ticker. All right.
We caught the most insane paranormal evidence ever caught on camera. Try and explain this.
Oh, I will.
They coughed.
First of all, anybody who's filming a TikTok like this, you can tell that they're obviously about to stage something.
She might be sick too. This person recording, like she's like,
And
you
just
know?
like throwing the phone.
yeah,
around
the phone is
willy-nilly.
just like going everywhere.
Maybe she has the vid.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Fingers crossed for her.
Safe recovery, man. Oh.
First of all.
Really?
First of all, wait a second. Play that back. Play that back right now. Yo, chill.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I mean, are we watching TikTok or are we watching Mindseed?
Well,
And that was the end, because they just ran out screaming after that.
Do we want to watch it again?
yeah, let's watch it again without pausing and
Okay.
like its full glory.
Okay.
Let's.
Okay.
I don't know why it does that.
This is the most insane paranormal evidence ever caught on camera.
Coughing to alert someone they're ready.
And now guess what? There won't be any more coughing or sniffling. And they run out. And they make sure to pan back really quick into the room. Now, here's the thing. If you want someone to genuinely believe that it's paranormal evidence watching this, investigate the room.
Yes.
Like, go in, look to see if there's anyone hiding in there. Like,
Yes.
if you are all about research, don't run away from it. But again, that does not play into the narrative of what this is, which is just someone was hiding behind one of those pieces of furniture, threw a cushion, and then ducked down.
There were several pillows in that room that this particular cushion got thrown against the wall. So there is... It was easy for somebody to just like throw it and then duck down underneath a cushion. Like and they threw that motherfucker with force. Like they were mad as hell. Like right there, you see where that pink?
Mm-hmm.
That could just be a blanket. That could be a cushion somebody's hiding under. And if something like that happens, I understand getting scared in the moment and being like, what the hell is that? But then you kind of compose yourself. Obviously, you're there for a purpose. Go into the goddamn room.
And look.
And look. And
Yeah.
look.
Or be like, hello?
Look. Yeah. All she did was cough and sniffle and then run.
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that, you know, what really gets me is that you see a lot of different videos like this. And I'm not saying that they're all fake. Obviously,
Yeah,
there
of
are
course.
some where real things are thrown. But we have had... One of the things we do on Paranormal Quest is abandonment, where we set up cameras in these haunted locations, abandoned buildings, and we leave them run to see what they capture. And we've been doing that for over 10 years.
Yes.
And not once in all the years we've been doing that have we ever seen anything like that, of anything flying across the room of that magnitude, you know? So, and to have the timing that perfectly. Like, we've heard things fall. We've had things fall off camera, and people are like, well, it's always off camera that you get it to fall. Well, yeah, we don't know where it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, this instance, the reason they caught it on camera is because they knew exactly when it was going to happen, at the exact moment it was going to happen, because they were planning it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say debunked on that one.
So
Yeah.
we didn't actually explain it like I said we were going to. So the person is walking with a very shaky camera around this abandoned building, which has a bunch of furniture stacked in the rooms, and it's very deteriorated. And as they're walking with the camera, they're sniffling and coughing. And then they pan the camera really fast into this room at the exact moment that a seat cushion hits the wall. They pan the camera in very quickly, spinning around the room, trying to figure out where that came from, while obviously not trying to figure out where it came from. And they only linger in that room for about 1.5 seconds before they go on to the next room, which doesn't make any sense to go to the next room because it didn't happen in the next room.
Literally.
And then they walk back down the hallway to the room they came from, look into that room, which doesn't make any sense to me either because it didn't happen in that room. And then they say nope and run down the hallway out of the building.
Yeah.
So, again, like we said, literally perfect timing. Turn the corner at the exact moment that cushion hits the wall. That doesn't happen that way.
But if you would like the opportunity to come on the podcast and explain yourself, just reach out to our email and you can come on and explain yourself. All right, on to the next one.
This is one that's made the rounds. I've seen this multiple times, which is why I picked it out.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this one as well. It has over 400,000 likes on it. So
wow. It's
pretty popular.
Yes, and this is a re-recorded. The original poster, I believe, is ShealynnMurphy. ShealynnMurphy. My daughter's car is haunted. Even the door opens at the end. So we will see this little tyke red and yellow car. I already know what's going to happen, but...
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you watched it.
I picked it out.
Okay, here we go.
What's happening with your car? Braylon? Braylon? What's happening with your car?
First of all, I'll be getting my black ass up out of there. Whether somebody's trying to prank me or if that is something paranormal and the baby's just like, no. Okay, it moved one time. I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm snatching my baby up and I'm leaving. We'll figure this out some other time. No.
What was really interesting about this one to me was that it is not anything motorized. It's one of those foot-powered cars, and it starts out by moving from over by the kitchen countertop into the room. It stops, then it backs up. And as it stops backing up, the driver's side door where the kid would get into the car pops open like someone gets out of the car.
Yes. And if you also notice, the steering wheel moves.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I didn't notice that. Can you play it again?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
What's happening with your car?
See it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I did see that.
Yep, the steering wheel moved too.
Braylon? Braylon? What's happening with your car?
Even the baby was like, girl, I don't know. I can't even speak proper English. You asking me what's wrong with it. Hello? Nuh-uh.
So the only thing that I could think of is maybe somebody was off frame, pushed it into frame, the floor's uneven, and it rolled back. But I can't figure out the steering wheel moving or the door opening.
Yeah, that one's a little baffling.
Unless there's some clear fishing string or something that they use to do that, but...
Yeah, I don't see any fishing string looking at it. I mean, you would be able to see some evidence of fishing string, and the little girl walks around the car, and if there was someone with fishing string, you would probably see her run into it, and she's just as surprised. Children aren't... I mean, let's be honest, they're not the best actors.
No.
So for her to be that baffled by what's happening...
And then on top of that, you'd have to have like multiple people doing it. You'd have to have one person over there. You'd have to have one person over there and then somebody to pull the string for. That's too elaborate for a TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's way too much work.
And if it was faked, then congratulations to you because it looks pretty real. And again, if how'd you say her name? Shaylin?
Yeah.
Shaylin?
Shaylin, if you're watching, which you're probably not, if you would like to come on and talk about your TikTok there, hit us up.
What's the final consensus on that? Would you say that is fake, real?
I don't want to say that it's real.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. I'm like, it's a possibility.
Yeah.
And if it's been debunked by someone else before, we apologize. We have not seen your debunk. So
let us know in the comments if someone's debunked this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with Viva. I'm right in the middle on this one.
Because it's possible that it could be faked. But it would have just been way too elaborate for somebody to put that much effort into a 10-second moment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, and also get their 2 or 3-year-old little kid to play along.
Yeah, that kid deserves an Oscar if this was fake, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the timing of that is just strange.
Yeah.
So, all right, Ryan, set us up on the last one. What do we got going on here?
So this last one, I picked it for a specific reason because I felt it would be a good conversation starter. It would propel us into a different conversation for us to talk about afterwards. And I have a specific story in my life and about a decade ago of this. But this one is a mother filming her son, I believe, her little boy. Could possibly be her child. We'll say her child. And her child is acting very bizarrely and begins and turns around into the bedroom and begins to talk to someone in the bedroom. And you'll see what the kid says when the mom asks, "Who are you talking to?"
Oh, God. All right, here we go.
Oh my God, so cute.
Cheese. What you doing? What you see? What?
Ooh, that gave me
What
cold
do you see?
chills.
Oh my gosh.
Who are you saying hi to? Who are you saying hi to?
Show the whole room.
Dude,
Show
you
the
need to
whole
stop
room.
that.
And that was where it ended on that clip.
Ooh.
So,
I still actively have cold chills from that. I want to watch that again.
Cheese. Cheese.
The kid's so stinking cute.
yep.
Yeah.
Cheese. What you doing? What you see? What? What do you see? Who are you saying hi to? Who are you saying hi to? Dude, you need to stop that.
If you didn't hear, the little kid said "Papa," which to me might be like grandfather,
Yeah, that's what I
grandpa,
got from it. Yeah.
Papa.
Yeah, see, I've seen that one before.
Okay.
And I think that one is very strange. Obviously, there is a possibility that somebody could have like ducked behind the dresser or something, but that seemed way too real
Agreed.
for me to think that that would be fake.
Yeah. Yeah. Both of them had very genuine reactions to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she started filming her child and just saying cheese, cheese, like, "Hi, I'm filming you. This is going to be a cute little video of my kid.
Yeah.
Cheese, cheese." And then the kid turned around into the bedroom and started talking to someone and waving and saying that they were talking to Papa. And then she walked in the room, turned on the light, and nobody was in there
And then
that we can see.
And then on top of that, like, it wasn't like it was something like he expected somebody to be in the room where automatically, okay, an adult is going to be behind me. And you automatically look up. Like, he looked into the room and was like, oh, and then like trailed up. Like,
Yeah.
that one's weird for sure.
Yeah.
That gave me cold chills. And I'm sure, as we all know, we've always heard that kids are able to see things that we are not because of their susception to everything. But yeah, I think I would lean more to the fact that is pretty legit.
Yeah.
Real. I mean, it's not evidence caught on camera, but it is evidence of an experience.
Yes.
Of the child seeing something. And I have something. I know you, Viva, said also in your past you've had an experience with a kid
Yes.
seeing something, and I have too.
Gosh, I need that cushion from that last TikTok.
The one they threw up against the wall.
Yeah, this chair. Wow. Okay, sorry, go ahead. Throw me that cushion, TikTok lady.
Oh my gosh.
But this was probably about 10 to 12 years ago when I was just a simple tour guide at the West Virginia Penitentiary.
A simple tour guide.
Just a simple tour guide.
Oh, a simple tour guy, yeah.
Are we doing accents now?
Yeah, of course, bruv. Bruvette.
I would be you'd be bruv and I'd be bruvette.
Bruvette, yeah.
Bruvette.
I hate that.
Me too.
Oh my gosh.
We all hate it.
Sorry, go ahead.
We had a guy we used to hang out with all the time. It was Steve and I, Steve Hummel. For those of you that don't know, he is a part of Paranormal Quest as well, and he owns a paranormal museum in Moundsville, West Virginia, called the Archive of the Afterlife. But we met Steve at the penitentiary as well, the West Virginia Penitentiary.
Yes.
And we both worked there as tour guides at the time. And we knew a guy named Randall. And Randall had 2 kids, and Randall wanted to come in and just walk around the prison and take a tour. And after we got done with tours for the day, we told Randall to come and we'd walk him around. And so we're walking through North Hall Cell Block, which for the last 9 years the prison was open, was 22-hour-a-day lockdown, 1-hour rec, mealtime, whatever, shower time. They were the most violent of the inmates. A lot of violent things happened in there. And we were walking down the cell block on the first tier down to where an inmate named Danny Lehman was famously murdered, famously killed down there. We all turn around, and Randall, his daughter, Hannah, who's like, at the time, I want to say like between 5 and 10. She's young. And we turn around and she's not with us. And Randall's like, well, where'd Hannah go? And we're all looking around. We look down the tier, and Hannah is about 15, 16 cells down, looking inside one of the cells talking to someone.
Oh my gosh.
And Randall walks down and says, Hannah, what are you doing? And she just says, talking to him.
Oh, gosh.
Oh my gosh.
And we look in the cell, and there is nobody there. It is an empty prison cell.
Do you know whose cell that was?
At the time, now recollecting, I don't even remember what cell number it was.
Okay.
I should have taken note of that, but both Steve and I were pretty excited and freaked out about that because, to have that experience in the moment, to see a kid actively speaking to no one, which, kids can have wild imaginations and can make imaginary friends, whatever. But the last place you would think a kid is going to try and talk to an imaginary friend is in an abandoned prison, just walking away from her father, standing and talking to some man that she sees in an empty prison cell.
That's insane. Yeah, nope.
So do we want to go on to the third scene?
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
That's why I asked, because I don't know. Are we gonna dip our toe into these waters?
Well, I mean, that was the whole original idea behind the podcast back in the day, was to talk about paranormal drama and some world drama, but paranormal drama and just calling people and things out for the BS that they do in the field, and they try and get away with it.
Ooh.
There's about to be some tea. What do you think about that,
I was gonna say
Viva?
coffee and scream. We should have got some tea for this.
Do we spill?
Do we spill? Are you comfortable with dipping your toe into spilling some tea?
Listen, I have no tea to be spilled, so I am just going to be a bystander, and I'm just going to listen in.
A lot has happened in the world of paranormal that has got a lot of people talking.
Screw it. Let's talk about it.
Yes, and one thing that is in the it's been for months or over a month, has been in the spotlight of the paranormal, is the infamous Sam and Colby Hell Week video.
Yeah.
The Hell Week video that at the CON-juring house that has garnered a lot of animosity and has garnered a lot of Stark defenders, not starch, that's potatoes. Staunch. That's the word I was looking for. Starch is potatoes.
A lot of potato outliers there.
But what I was saying was the drama behind Cody and Satori Hawes and everything that is going on with that, which I have been watching from behind the scenes and not saying anything, not popping in, simply because we didn't have the outlet to talk about it, and now we do.
We do. And one of the reasons I'm afraid to do this is because I have no filter when it comes to holding back about.
He's already name dropped, so you might as well just
talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's what I have looked at and seen. For those of you that have not seen it, what have you been doing? It's been all over the place.
Yeah.
They have.
I can honestly say that I've only seen a few things. I don't know the full tea because they are not necessarily people that I gravitate towards.
Same.
Their energy is not on the same vibration as me, so I don't watch their stuff.
On Sam and Colby's investigation of the CON-juring house, for a couple of the series episodes, they brought on Cody and Satori, who are apparently employed by the Conjuring House. I might be incorrect by saying that, but I do know that they are affiliated, at least now, with the Conjuring House. And they are good. They go by the nickname the Paranormal Couple, and they have made big claims about their ability to simply touch one another and then communicate with spirits through knocking noises, which they then can form letters, sentences, messages, numbers, use the knocking sounds to say yes, no responses, and fully communicate with the other side. And in one of the episodes of Sam and Colby's Hell Week, Cody and Satori claim that they are communicating with multiple deceased family members of the people that are there, including Sam's grandmother. Immediately, it caused an uproar amongst certain people in the paranormal community watching, because it's just something that you don't really do, you know? Like, we all have a certain animosity towards people, especially, you know, it's almost like ambulance chasing paranormal investigators. People that claim that they are talking to the Queen 2 days after she died.
Don't even get me started.
Don't even get me started. I saw one, somebody was like, I'm talking to the spirit of Matthew Perry. I'm like, bitch, he's not even cold in the ground yet. Like, relax.
Yeah.
That's a whole other person, a whole other podcast.
That's a whole nother thing. But yes.
So there was a certain amount of blowback from that, but through that, I've been kind of following in the distance from the background certain wonderful debunkers that have touched on the topic, like Beardo Gets Scared. And also there is a gentleman that goes by the name Mythos Paranormal, who has made multiple videos about it, one of which he actually discovered and fully debunked, or at least caught something that points towards a debunk of Cody and Satori's knocking noises. And that is that he found that if you watch Cody's feet, you can see the tendons in his foot popping as these knocking noises are happening, saying that he is making these knocking noises with his toes.
Oh, okay.
And using that, whether it's pre-planned, his opinion was it was research done beforehand, and that Cody and Satori were popping their toes to create the narrative that they were speaking to these people who were deceased relatives of the people around them. Obviously, I've not been in the room when any of this is happening, so I can't really make an opinion. But from what I've seen and from what the work and research that these other YouTubers and paranormal investigators and debunkers have done, to me, it looks like Cody and Satori or at least Cody was making those knocking noises with his feet.
Allegedly.
That's what they are saying.
You're right.
And that's what it looks like. Now, again, you watch the videos, they can spin a narrative just like anyone else can. But seeing the footage for myself, you can see Cody shifting his weight and Cody's tendons in his foot popping when it happens. It is not necessarily... Am I going to talk? Am I going to be the only one to go through this?
No. I said, I've heard about this stuff, but I never really gave it that much of a thought, honestly. At the end of the day, in my head, I'm like, I'm probably never going to investigate with them. So, you know, it's whatever to me. Whether they're real or not, I mean, if they believe they're doing something, then great. Go right ahead. Everybody's allowed to live in Delulu. But ultimately, when you have such a large platform like Sam and Cody? Colby. Like they have, and you're presenting that as evidence on their large platform, then that puts you in a larger scope. And then people start over analyzing every single thing that you put out there as evidence in the paranormal community.
Yes.
And Sam and Colby's fans are very...
I heard they're very dedicated.
Passionate and dedicated about those boys. And we have nothing against Sam and Colby. Jason has met them before. And
oh, nice. I think I've seen... He was in one of their videos, right? Something like that? Yeah. I think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he said they were very nice, upstanding guys. And but my question is for no other reason than making fake sounds, why are you moving your tendons in your feet?
Right. And that's the thing, is it's like, they'll go through the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and whenever the popping sound happens, that's the letter, and they can spell out names, spell out messages, spell out whatever. And they claim that it's something they found and discovered when they met one another, and that they've had this special gift where the spirits around them create knocking noises when they do skin-to-skin contact or when they touch one another, like energy, vibration, whatever.
But it's not an original idea.
Right, no. I mean, the Fox sisters years ago did the exact same thing, and eventually it came out that they were doing the exact same thing by popping their toes, the spiritualism movement way back in the day. It's something that has been done before. Now, they did recant their statement saying that, they came out and said we were faking this, then they recanted that statement and said, oh, no, we didn't. There's a lot of speculation and a lot of confusion behind that as well. But in the world of paranormal drama, this is important because it really does. It's a lesson, especially in the age of the internet, that paranormal investigators need to learn. And that is, when you go on a large stage like the one that Sam and Colby have, you need to be ready to be analyzed.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And one thing that I did see from Sam and Colby is they put out a response to a lot of the backlash they were getting from it, and said that they did testing with them, and that Cody and Satori refused to go through more testing because they didn't feel like they needed to prove anything to people.
That's all I need to hear.
Right.
And realistically, they don't. They don't need to prove anything to anybody.
Sure.
But at the same time, you also can't get upset when people are calling you out and being like, that don't add up.
Right.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing.
It is. And you would think that you would want to go to the furthest bounds possible to prove yourself in that scenario. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. If you have this special gift and you know that you are communicating with real spirits, at least I would want to do everything that I could do to prove to people, no, this is not. This is real life. This is actually happening.
Even if you have to do it butt ball naked.
Right.
Do what?
Butt ball naked. You heard me. No, for real, because it's like, obviously people are like, oh, they're popping their tendons, they're cracking their knuckles in their hands and stuff like that. Just do it naked. Then nobody can say like, oh, you're cracking this. They gonna see everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
You gonna clench your booty cheeks or something, they gonna see it. So yeah, just all naked.
It comes back to the original problem with the paranormal and content creation, which is a line that we have straddled for many years, Dave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult to be a paranormal investigator and a content creator because you have to keep content interesting. But in the real world, paranormal investigation is not interesting.
It's boring.
Yes, most of the time.
Oh my gosh. I tell people all the time, especially when you're doing tours and doing like paranormal investigating and stuff like that, like ghost hunts, and you have it like a public ghost hunt, and it's people that are like, oh my God, this is my first time ever doing this. This is so much fun. Oh my God, I see this on TV. Let's take a selfie together. And it's like, dial it back.
Yeah.
This is going to be very boring. It's a lot of talking to the air and hoping something happens.
Yeah.
It is a very expensive hobby as well. So like, don't come into this thinking that this is going to be anything like Ghost Adventures or any paranormal TV show that you've seen, because a lot of times what they do is record for like a week and then put all of the evidence that they've received in that week into an hour. I'm like, don't even come into this expecting crazy things to happen
from one night.
Yeah, for especially like when we do like short investigations where it's like 30 minutes or something, or even just like 2 hours, or like don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not, you're not going to have a cushion thrown against the wall.
It's the same as like fishing. Like, you're not going to catch something every time you go fishing.
Yeah,
Literally.
every time the line touches the water, you're not going to pull a fish out of the water. It's the same thing. And that's what content creation and the power of Hollywood video editing, even through television, what it has created in people's minds is that they think you walk into a haunted building and immediately you're going to end up with a terrifying experience. And that's just not how it works.
No.
It's not.
So it is a very difficult line to straddle. And I feel like, again, that old that old adage of jumping the shark. I feel like there's going to get to be a point where the paranormal community is going to have to see that it has jumped the shark. It has gotten to a point where there is no more boundaries you can push to make things exciting for content creation.
No.
You know, and it's happening all around. You know, you have people that are doing live streams, and in order to make the live streams more exciting, which again, when you create content, you can edit out the parts that are boring.
Yes.
But if you're live streaming, you can't edit anything out, so you have to make it exciting.
Yeah.
And so people, you know, I've heard stories of people using walkie-talkies to set their REM pods off and all kinds of things to try and keep their content exciting. And it is a detriment to the paranormal field, but it also is just a symptom of a bigger problem, which is people are trying to create something exciting out of something that isn't always exciting.
See, and I think a lot of times people, they like the entertainment, they like to get scared, they like the shock factor of it. And that's totally fine. But I think people should market themselves in that sort of way instead of it being like true, genuine, boring ass investigations. Market yourself as paranormal entertainment.
Agree,
Right.
100%.
Not something that is going to be genuine, because then people are going to look at every other paranormal investigator like you guys. They're going to look at your guys. This isn't what Ghost Adventure says. This isn't what Zach and Colby do. This is ridiculous. It's like, no,
Zach and
this
Colby.
is, first of all, shut up. Second of all, I don't need you calling me out like that on the podcast. Like this,
Hey,
okay?
someone in the comments would have if I didn't.
Okay, first of all, you in the comments, stop typing right now. Delete it. Delete it. I don't want to hear nothing about it. No, okay, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yes.
it's so strange that people go to real investigators and expect that same sort of content when that's not genuine at all.
Right.
It's not genuine at all. And that's something literally that was discussed today. Like, as I was going into the gym, I posted a tweet or an X, or what do you call it?
Tweet.
A tweet. Okay.
We ain't listening to Elon.
No.
You don't come on the podcast.
No, do come on the podcast, please.
No, because I will rip him to shreds.
Elon, come talk about the paranormal.
Oh my god.
Cease and desist.
Yeah.
Another one. We're
Another
racking
one.
for the first episode. We're racking up a lot of them, huh?
We are.
Oh my gosh.
We are. And I have a feeling it's probably not the last one either. But yeah, you know, I had posted on there that, you know, the sensationalism that is within the field of these content creators putting stuff up is just, it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's just gone too far out of left field. And it is very irritating. And it makes me not want to do this anymore, to be honest, at all.
It's discouraging.
And there were even people that have been on TV shows that reached back out to me after I posted that and said, like, you know, you're exactly right. When we were on TV, we were compared to Ghost Adventures and this and that. And it's just, it's crazy how deep it goes.
It does, and it is tough because, you know, our goal from the beginning of creating paranormal content was always to create something that is both genuine and entertaining, even if we don't capture evidence, you know, just through the process of exploration and going into these old abandoned buildings and presenting the history, which is a whole other side of the story.
Oh yes.
The content itself can be entertaining without the shock drama that it has become. You know, blood rituals or whatever people are doing now.
Oh my god.
For real.
For real.
Blood rituals. Oh my god, that one took me out.
It's happening. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, sacrificing a lamb.
Yeah,
the woods.
exactly. And when it comes back to it, and the paranormal and world drama today, anything that's going on in the paranormal field, it really affects all of us because people are going to come to expect it. The viewer is going to come to expect it. And as content creators, we have to look at ourselves and say, how far are we willing to go?
Yeah.
Before, like with us, we have no qualms about it because we're going to stick and continue to be ourselves, continue to produce the amount of real paranormal evidence or capture real paranormal evidence and create content and episodes and videos from that. But everyone else that is perpetuating that, how far are they willing to go before they're like, okay, yeah, we can't keep going anymore?
I don't know.
We can't outdo what we just did now because it would literally amount to ritualistic sacrifice or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
That would be way too much. I think ultimately it's about being proud of what you're putting out. It's not like, I understand people want to have the engagement, people want to have the comments, they want to have the views, they want to have the subscribers, the likes, the this, the that. Like, that's all great. But ultimately, if you're putting out something that you don't feel passionate about, and it's just like, oh, I gotta put this, let me quickly edit this video, let me just do this bullshit, blah, blah, blah. If that's what you're feeling, then get out. Like,
Right.
I agree.
Literally get out.
Yep.
Yeah, and it can be very frustrating, I know, for you and I, because we've been doing this for 13, 14 years, and we literally just the other day hit 165,000 subscribers
Period. Woo!
on YouTube, which, you know, we're very thankful for.
Yes.
That's very proud of.
That's not, yeah, it's something to be proud of, but it's very frustrating because we've always stuck to our integrity and honesty, and it's taken us 13 years to build up that audience, where you have these Johnny-come-latelys come on and they start like last year and they've got 1.5 million, 2 million subs, and it's nothing but fake content. So like, where and why? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. Like, why, if you're interested in the paranormal and actual documentation of the paranormal and getting actual answers, and I'm speaking as a viewer,
Yeah.
why are you going to watch this stuff? And I don't care, like Mindseed TV, which is very obviously fake. Like, and they don't claim that they're not, you know what I mean? And that is very frustrating and infuriating for me, because it's just, and I'm not jealous of them by any means. You know, congratulations to them for building their audience the way that they have, but they've done it on false pretenses and have taken advantage of all of these people who are scared,
Who think that they're real, because I've gone through, especially, I haven't watched any of their more recent content, but, you know, over the past 2 or 3 years, I've watched multiple videos that they've released, and which obviously fake. Obvious. I mean, you had chairs stacking on top of tables and chairs stacking on top of chairs.
What?
And chairs moving across the room behind them.
I don't know these people.
And we'll show you later.
Okay. I feel like
And,
Mariah Carey and J-Lo. I don't know her. I don't know her at all.
In the end, with those types of things, you see the people in the comments that are so passionate about the content creators that they watch, which isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing. But it really sets the bar way too high for people that are trying to genuinely put out real paranormal evidence. And that right there in and of itself could be an ignorant statement in and of itself, because is there such thing as real paranormal evidence?
I don't know.
We don't know, but that's why we do this. But we're certainly not going to use fancy camera cuts and you know,
Fishing wire.
or anything to try and produce something for people to watch.
Yeah.
No.
You know, but in the end, that's why we do this, and that's what has kept us doing it for years, because we started off our interest in the paranormal 2 decades ago with our own paranormal experiences.
Y'all old as fuck.
I know. I know. I feel it
so
right
old.
now.
Oh my God.
With our own experiences that led us to do paranormal investigation to try and explain the things that had already happened to us. And we didn't set out to start investigating the paranormal to try and gain views or clicks. Obviously, in the content creation world, I'm going to be brutally honest, that is the game. Like, we are content creators at the end of the day. We make a living off of producing videos. So when it comes down to it, we have to a certain level, make entertaining content. But the reason that we continue to do what we do is because we want answers for the things that have happened to us earlier in life.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mesh with the other motivation, which is simply to just make money because they want to be famous.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's what 99% of it is now. And one last thing that I'll say about that is the level of infuriation of that channel's fans backing up the fact that stacking up chairs is real paranormal activity, or their own investigators getting drug out of frame by something not there.
What the fuck?
Their fans will back that up as being real, yet we got called out by a debunker because Steve was tired and rested his arm on a wall, and they were trying to say that we were faking evidence.
Faking knocking noises, right?
Yeah.
Now, I will give it to the debunking community. They give them hell, just like they give a lot of different channels hell.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen so many debunking videos on Mindseed TV and things, but again, it genuinely is frustrating which we haven't had a debunker make a video about us since then. Well, we have.
Not
Can't
in
say
a
that.
negative light, really.
Yeah, we have.
Oh.
Let's say there's
That guy.
a certain Louisiana variety.
He doesn't even count. He's
He
not
doesn't-
even...
He's not even a debunker. He's just a troll shit stirrer.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is frustrating when you have someone claim that you're fake or that something is faked when you've tried so hard all your life to present real evidence. Mm-hmm. It is frustrating. But at the end of the day, we have receipts.
We
Period.
do. We
Yes.
have receipts.
We have receipts.
Period.
If anyone has any question about our content, we have absolutely no problem with showing you full clips, full footage, you know. We have no problem with it. Now, granted, it'll be boring as hell because if we capture, like, for example, the music at the Harriman Hospital we captured on abandonment.
Oh, yeah.
That was the basis of that certain Louisiana variety man making a video saying that it was put in digitally after the fact. We have the raw footage right out of the camera, and we are more than welcome to share it with someone so they can watch it. It wouldn't be the best thing to post online because it's literally an hour of nothing, like an hour-long clip that you would have to sift through before you finally get to where the music plays.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be best posted in a content creation format, but
If asked, we would.
if asked, we
Yeah.
would send it to a debunker, you know? But that's what needs to happen. And that's the same thing that happened with the haunted side, was that something happened.
Yeah.
Debunkers called him out, and he didn't try and back himself up with receipts.
No.
He didn't try and send out proof that, hey, I didn't fake this.
Right.
And that was the beginning of the downfall. No, I don't want to say downfall, but that was
No,
the
downfall.
downfall
oh,
of that.
shit.
Yeah.
You're like, no, let's not wash that one out.
Yeah. Oh, he's earned it.
You know, it just goes to show you that honesty and integrity goes a long way.
Yeah.
And I hate to this has been a long rant on honesty and integrity.
That's okay. It's a passionate thing that we have because it's something we've always been
Yeah.
driven to do.
So, but anyway, I'll end my portion by saying it really goes a long way to back up your evidence any way that you can. And if you can't do that, if you're unwilling to send full clips or release multiple camera angles, if there are multiple camera angles of an experience or evidence that happened, then at the end of the day, it just looks suspicious. It just looks fishy, and it doesn't help your case.
No, not at all. And I will end on that topic by saying that we have and still continue to offer many, many times for those that have debunked us to come on an investigation with us and have yet had anyone accept. So,
Yet. Not that he's debunked us, but we might have a debunker on an investigation next year,
maybe.
which we are excited about. We would love to investigate with him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We don't want to release that information yet.
Ooh.
Not yet.
Ooh.
He knows who he is.
He knows.
Oh, shit.
Maybe we'll have him on the podcast.
Maybe we'll have him on the podcast.
I'm new to this, so I don't know what they're talking about, just so y'all know, honestly.
Yeah.
Here we go. On to the next. Let's cycle out of the paranormal drama before our hair lights on fire.
Yes.
Yes.
We've been ranting for a long time, and I'm about to just...
Same.
Next, we're going into Instagram polls and Q&A.
All right, so if you didn't know, we do have the Instagram, which I've said like 5,000 times for Coffee and Scream.
Coffee and Scream on Instagram. Hit that follow button.
That's right. Go and follow, and you can be a part of the interactive polls and stuff like that we do over there. But I had posted, have you ever had a paranormal experience? And it is a live active poll that you can go vote yes or no. And what do you guys think? What percentile do you think of people have had a paranormal experience?
I would say probably like 75%.
I'm going to go a little lower.
Okay.
Just because I don't think that it's that common.
Okay.
I'm going to say 68.
Okay.
Do we win anything?
We have no budget.
You know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it.
No. You
Can I
can't.
change
no,
mine?
No takesy
No
backsies.
takesy backsies. No.
I just want to change it to 69.
You could.
Okay.
Okay, that's allowed. That's allowed.
Okay. So, Viva, you were very close.
Period.
79% of people.
Wow.
And you were 10 off.
Shock. I was 10 off.
Damn.
79% of people that are subscribed to our Instagram.
Which probably already are interested in the paranormal anyway. But
Yeah.
So 79% of you have had a paranormal experience. That's crazy.
that is.
That's pretty cool.
That is. Yes, it is. And that is the Instagram poll.
Yeah, and make sure you head over there, like we said, and follow our Instagram because you don't know what type of polls are going to pop up.
So for the very last segment of the podcast, we have saved the viewer voicemails until the end.
That's right.
Now, we did get quite a few of them. And again, the phone number, if you want to call in and leave your voicemail of a story, a paranormal story, or even anything that you want us to talk about on the show, it's 740-538-0477. I will leave it in the description as well. We're not going to be able to get to all of these, so I do apologize. Maybe we'll save them for later.
That's right. We'll create a bank of them.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, if we get too many, we'll do an entire episode of just viewer voicemails.
That would be cool. That
if
would
we
be
get
awesome.
too many. So be patient. If you left us a voicemail, you don't hear it this time, it could come up and probably will come up in a later episode.
Nice.
So we're only 3 people here at this table.
Yeah.
And there's only a limited amount of time in the world. Use your time wisely.
Like I said, we got a bunch of these. I'm only going to go through a couple of them. And just to reiterate, everybody who sent in this voicemail was told that it would be used on the show, and they gave us consent. So
That's right. It's in the voicemail message. By leaving a voicemail, you give us consent.
okay, so do you guys want to hear from Frankie, Matt, or Patty?
You know, I like the name Frankie.
Same.
Frankie.
I was
Frankie
thinking
has
that
a very
too.
good, strong mobster name.
Yes.
You know?
Hey, Frankie!
I'm walking it. That New Yorkers don't say that. I just need that to be known. New Yorkers do not say, "Hey, I'm walking it." That's not a thing.
Now watch this be a lady named Frankie, and then we'll have to backtrack.
yeah.
Sorry, Frankie, if you're a lady, but you have a mobster name.
Love
Yes.
you.
All right, here we go.
My name's Frankie,
It is a
and
man.
I was part of an event investigation at Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary in August of 2022. That was probably the most terrifying night of my life. We were doing an investigation inside the 3rd floor auditorium area. When I walked in, a voice in my head immediately told me to leave. I didn't do that. Over the course of that night, we heard multiple long, deep growls.
Oh.
An investigator got upset and stated he wanted to break our equipment. Another investigator got upset and felt like she wanted to physically assault someone who was with her.
Been there.
And there was this green glow on the ceiling. We tried to debunk it. Let's see if anyone was using flashlights, lasers, anything. A dull green glow would come, it would go, it would move. I've never seen anything like it at any other location. Brushy Mountain is haunted, but that night was absolutely terrifying.
Wow.
Thank you, Frankie, for your voicemail message
Frankie,
there.
that was awesome.
Good. So,
Ooh,
and we
that
can
was weird.
we can speak on this personally. I don't. Viva, I don't know if you've been to Brushy Mountain or not.
I have not.
Have you ever seen like a green glowing goo on the ceiling?
Other than in like Ghostbusters, no.
Ghostbusters, the movie.
I've never seen it.
Oh my god.
I've never seen it either.
Oh my god. You've never seen Ghostbusters?
We're Ghostbusters who don't watch Ghostbusters. I know the theme song.
That movie is a classic, and there is a green like blob monster ghost in the movie, and he's
Okay.
like blah 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 blah.
Like Flubber?
Like Flubber, but he floats and he like looks gross. Y'all need how have y'all? We're not gonna have that conversation anyway.
Yeah, that might have to be a later podcast.
Anyway,
Frankie, let's focus on Frankie.
yes, yeah, I thought that was really cool. I think everybody has had a moment during paranormal investigations where their little voice in their head is telling them like, don't do this or don't do that. And everybody in any form, like whatever level you are at with being an investigator, everybody has that sort of anxious feeling whenever they go into places or have that like gut feeling like, I shouldn't be doing this. First of all, you are brave as hell to still continue even with hearing that little voice in your head. Secondly, the growling, immediately no. Immediately no.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. That I mean, that would be a lot. Brushy Mountain is a very interesting place. There was a lot of very, very violent things that happened in that
Ooh.
prison.
Yes.
I can't say
Where is it located? I'm sorry.
Petros, Tennessee.
Petros, Tennessee.
Petros, Tennessee.
It's literally like a prison, and the prison walls are mountains around it.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the coolest prisons that I've seen in America.
What's that?
Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary.
Yeah.
You can pull a picture of it up on the monitor there, Dave, so
I
you
can.
don't have to...
Well, I didn't mind.
I know you didn't mind, but you get a bigger view of it here.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
And believe it or not, well, I will believe it because it's been told to us by multiple tour guides that infirmary / auditorium area that Frankie was talking about is said to be one of the only areas in Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary that has something negative inside of it. Like,
Oh.
I don't know what's happening, but it's not letting me open anything.
yeah, it's like... I don't know
Go
what
to
it's
see
doing.
photos on the side,
There it
maybe?
goes.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
So you can see...
Oh, look at that picture at the bottom there. Wait.
Yes. See,
I
you
don't
see how
like
it's
that.
surrounded by the mountains and everything?
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And people have been scratched in that area, and people have heard growling, and so I would agree with you. I didn't get to do much investigating in that area whenever I was there, the first or the second time, because you and Kalani focused a lot on that when we
Yeah.
were there the first time.
And it would be terrifying to have that like aggression towards, your friends or whoever that you're there with. And it's something that we went through at Moon River Brewing Company.
Oh, I remember that.
And then also you and Steve went through at, I think, the prison and a Masonic temple.
Yes,
That we
years
investigated.
and years
Wow.
ago. Yeah.
And it's very alarming to just suddenly snap and have that aggression towards somebody while you're in that moment. So
Yeah.
I know that if you were experiencing that in Brushy, then that was terrifying.
Yeah,
Wow.
and as far as the green light on the ceiling goes, I mean, we've been there, like we said, and that was what I was getting to with the fact that we've been there. It is dark in that infirmary auditorium. There are no windows,
Wow.
so there's no source for a green light to just be shining on the ceiling. So that's some very cool experiences,
Yeah.
Frankie, and we thank you so much for sending us a voicemail. And it's a place that we hold near and dear to our hearts as well, being that we cut our teeth investigating a penitentiary.
We did. We cut our teeth there.
We have a special place for penitentiaries, and Brushy Mountain is one that holds a place near and dear to our heart.
Oh, man, I forgot about this.
He forgot about it, folks.
Grandpa.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
Well, that's too damn bad. You keep digging.
I do that one so bad. I do.
You do.
I forgot that I had a guy reach out to me saying that he has been wanting us to take a look at this video that he got, and I just wanted to take a look at it. He says, "Hey guys, it's David Murray here sending in the video just a little history I have on battlefield grounds known as the Battle of Five Forks in Petersburg, Virginia, if you wanted to take a look a little further." Okay, you guys ready to watch this video?
Yes.
I'm going to be honest, I have not seen this at all either, so.
And this is from David, right?
This is from David Murray.
David
Yes.
Murray.
And we will get back to the voicemail. Guys, sorry, I forgot about this, so.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
My first thought was spiderweb.
Yeah. That was also my first thought.
Yeah. Spider web. I mean, if it's not a spider web, then it could be something, but you always get that on security cameras, especially because they have a lot of times with security cameras, whatever light is being used to illuminate them is inside the camera or right next to the camera lens. So it will illuminate, like you see up top here, something flew across there. And then that right there. But I mean,
I could see how it would possibly be something paranormal only because if it was a spider web, it would be a straight line all the way down from the top to the bottom.
right.
But it's just in that specific area. But it could just be in that specific area because of the fact that the light is only shining in one particular spot and not illuminating the entire thing, if that makes any sense.
It kind of reminds me of that rod of light that they captured on that Steven Spielberg documentary that they filmed at the West Virginia Penitentiary. It all circles back.
It all circles back.
It all circles back. Okay.
Let's watch this one more time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it could be one of those like silkworms.
Could be. Yeah. Yeah. My initial reaction or my initial thought to that is some sort of web or
Yeah.
something like that.
Still very cool.
Yeah.
It is.
Very cool.
I mean, if you have been having paranormal things happening, then maybe it might correlate with something that you might personally be having. What? Did I just have a stroke? Oh my God. If you're having stuff happen in your house and then you get a video like this, then I can completely understand how it can make you feel like it's something paranormal, but without anything else around it to kind of give you a story about the video, then I think it's a bug.
Yeah.
Or a web or whatever.
Yeah.
And the thing about these security cameras, specifically, I see this is a Ring camera.
Yes.
That frame rate.
Yes, they have a very, very slow frame rate.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking maybe like 15 to 20 frames per second, something like that. But that's what you need in order to have the ability to store the data, right? Because if you have higher frame rates, that leads to larger files, which makes it harder to store and then pull those up for security purposes, which is why you notice when the one piece of whether it's a bug or whatever it is flies along the top, you'll notice it almost looks like it has a misty tail going behind it. But that's just the slow frame rate causing the distortion of whatever, you know, the pixels looks like they're stretching because of the frame rate. So it's tough on those types of cameras, which is why whenever we investigate the paranormal, we always make sure we have high quality cameras with at least 24 frames per second, which is what our eyes see in. So you don't get that distortion. You don't get that muddling of details and things, you know, so you know what you're looking at. But David, it looks like to us, if you were to capture something that looked more like a full-on figure, it could be paranormal, but for this, specifically because of the style of camera it is, it's tough to say that is anything paranormal. To me, I would say it's more likely that it is some sort of floating pollen, dust, spider web, or what have you, and because of that low frame rate, it stretches like that.
If you have more videos like this or any other evidence, I would say send it to these guys and
Absolutely. Send it to our email, coffeescreampodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
And I'll throw that up on the screen for you. But yeah, send us any types of videos or anything that you have like this, and we would love to check it out.
And now we can move on to voicemail number 3. Thank you, David, for the video. We appreciate it.
It's voicemail number 2.
Number 2.
We can
And
move
it's
on
not
to
a voicemail, it's a voicemail.
It's a voicemail.
Leaving it in.
We're moving on to voicemail number 2.
Let's do it. Voicemail number 2. Okay.
Like I said, thank you, David.
Yes. Thank you, David, so much for sending that in. And anybody else who wants to send one in, please do so. And also send in your spooky, scary TikToks or
Skeletons.
reels or anything like that.
Send shivers down your spine.
Yeah.
He didn't
He didn't get it.
Grandpa.
Okay. Do we want to do Patty or Matt?
Let's do Patty. We did Frankie, which turned out to be a male.
Yes.
And now we're going to do Patty because, well, Patty might. We'll find out.
Exactly. It might be.
We're not going to assume any genders here.
No,
we're not.
assuming.
Here we go.
Hey, Dave and Ryan. This is Patty Patricia Poff. Just a short story. I sleep with a sleep machine, and I have a ghost tube on. I was just about to go to bed, so I put my sleep machine on my face. And as soon as I turned on the button, somebody asked, "Are you okay?"
Ooh.
Aw.
And I lost my dad October 15th
Oh.
of this year.
I'm sorry.
So I think it might have been Dad. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Patty, that's a touching story.
Thank
That
you,
is
Patty.
such a sweet story for one. For
Our
2,
condolences. Sorry for your loss.
Yes, I was just about to say that. I'm so sorry about your loss there. And yeah, it could possibly be your dad just checking in on you.
Yeah. And that's the thing about GhostTube. GhostTube is one of those tools we love to experiment with. We don't get a chance every single episode to say, you know, like GhostTube was made by some good friends of ours. But again, just like with any other piece of paranormal equipment, there's no guarantee that what comes through is going to be paranormal. Some of it could be random. All of it could be random. That's why we investigate the paranormal and investigate or research with these tools, because we don't know. And so that's another thing. That's a whole other rant, because people always say, well, you use this piece of equipment, you use that piece of equipment, that means you're fake. It's like, no, that just means you experiment with different things.
Yeah.
And GhostTube is something that our dear friends from Australia, Amy and Jared from Amy's Crypt, they created as a tool for people to use for paranormal research if they don't necessarily have hundreds of dollars to buy the expensive equipment. And we love that mission. And GhostTube really has had some bizarre things come through.
Oh, yeah.
Things that are way too coincidental to be random. And that sounds to me, Patty, like a situation where, you know, it is just way too coincidental to be random that you would be putting on your sleep mask and to have "Are you okay?" come through in that moment is just very bizarre and very strange, too coincidental to be, or too relevant to be just random word coming through, random response. So
thank you very much, Patty, for sending that in, and everybody else that sent one in. We're sorry that we didn't get to it. We have been sitting here for almost 3 hours talking. And
it's fun, though.
It is fun. I like this.
Let's give a round of applause to everyone who sent us in a voicemail or video. Thank you, guys. This is the other button. The other button I've been waiting to push. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you. It's an abrupt end to the applause.
I know, right?
They got tired real quick.
All at the same time.
Yes. Very weird. It's paranormal. But yeah, I think this is probably a good place to end the very first Coffee and Scream podcast. Viva, thank you so much for coming on and
of course
sharing your light with us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm just a phone call away.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Yes.
Oh, well, you can find me on TikTok, Viva La Melissa on TikTok, as well as Instagram. Please don't try to add me on Facebook. I will deny it. Every time. It's kind of like that Batman meme, like, who sent you? Like, Facebook is like for family stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Instagram and TikTok for sure. Viva La Melissa. And I post stuff all the time, paranormal related and just funny shit.
And if you want to find Viva in person, check out the Hidden Marietta locations.
Yes.
The Anchorage,
Hidden Marietta.
Island.
Hidden Marietta Tour Company. You can find that on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok as well. Our website is hiddenmarietta.com, but Hidden Marietta with everything else. So yeah, you can come and do a tour with me. You can come and do a ghost hunt with me. You can come hang out with me in the shop that we have. I'm very much weird. The way you hear and or see me like this is literally how I am. Probably even worse when there's no microphone, just so you know. So
Period.
Yeah. Period. Yeah. Yes. Period.
That's right. I've always said that if you wanted to branch out from the paranormal, or not even branch out, you could start your own comedy show.
You know, I tell people sometimes when they're scared on my tours that it's kind of like a paranormal comedy show.
There you go.
It's like haunted history and like humor.
Yeah, because every single event that we've done with you, with guests, literally you walk in the room and you have everybody cracking up. You have everybody's attention. You are just a wonderful human being and you have such an amazing personality, and we are very proud to call you our friend.
This is why I won't be able to fit outside of this room. You keep making my head bigger. That's what it is. No, I just have a very, electrifying personality, and I stick out like a sore thumb and a lot of times in my adult life. But I just enjoy it, honestly. If I didn't enjoy this, and if I didn't enjoy entertaining people or making people laugh or doing the paranormal, I would not be here. So I appreciate you guys letting me come on and be weird with you and talk for 3 hours. And
of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to come back. It'd be fun.
Absolutely. That's what I tell people whenever I accidentally static shock them, is I tell them it's my electrifying personality.
Oh, shut up. Anyway. I cannot.
Now I got the button.
Oh my gosh.
And on that note, guys, we are going to go ahead and
Yes.
end the podcast. Thank you so much for watching the very first episode of Coffee and Scream. We're so excited to finally get this out into the world. If you enjoyed it and you watched all the way to the end here, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and go follow us on Instagram so you can keep up with the polls.
That's
Yes.
right. Keep up with those polls, everyone, and we will see you next time on the next Coffee and Scream episode. Hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Stay tuned.
Oh yeah, bye!
We're going to cut this out, but fair to hit the button.
Period.